Welcome to Faster Bike Pod.
Welcome back to the Faster Bike Pod, the official audio companion to the Faster Bike blog. If you are aiming to be smarter, ride longer, and feel better while you train, you are absolutely in the right place.
In this episode, we are pulling out the most important bits from the recent blog article, International Fuel Favorites to Power Your Zone 2 Rides. Our mission today is all about effective fueling, but maybe moving past the marketing hype of synthetic products.
Right.
And looking instead at real food and these culturally rich alternatives that are, they're just incredibly effective for maintaining those long, steady endurance efforts.
And this shift is so crucial. We've all seen the headlines about modern cycling nutrition. We know that during intense races, many pros are now consuming, well over 100 grams of carbohydrates an hour.
Oh, easily.
And that requires really technical products, super concentrated gels, drink mixes, just to sustain that brutal high-intensity workload.
And that's really the peak of performance nutrition, right? It's designed for threshold for zone 5 efforts. But that approach, it often dictates how recreational riders think they should fuel every single ride.
Yeah.
The big question, particularly for long training sessions, is whether maximizing that synthetic carb intake is necessary or even beneficial for the body.
It just feels like overkill, especially when we talk about Zone 2. So let's make sure we're all on the same page about that. What exactly defines Zone 2 in, practical terms?
Zone 2 is your foundation. It's that consistent aerobic effort that sits just below your lactate threshold, so around 2 millimoles of blood lactate. It's that comfortable intensity where you feel the effort, but you should easily be able to hold a full conversation.
Without gasping for air.
Exactly. It's sustainable, and that's
right. And since Zone 2 is all about low intensity and long duration, we're not chasing these immediate power spikes. We're looking for consistent, gentle energy. So why, then, are these traditional real food options often better than just a pocket full of gels?
There are four major benefits that the article really highlights. First, they are generally far more affordable.
A big one.
A huge one. Second, they're highly palatable. You actually look forward to eating them, which really helps on long rides. Third, they are so much gentler on the stomach because they rely on recognizable natural ingredients.
And the fourth benefit, which I think is so often overlooked in performance culture, is the micronutrient density.
Absolutely. Real foods inherently provide essential vitamins, antioxidants, minerals that processed performance products just strip away. And that's vital when you're putting in consistent multi-hour work. These traditional options, they work for everyone, from amateurs just starting out to pros banking winter miles.
Okay, let's jump right in. Let's start with the foundational building blocks. The absolute classics that have stood the test of time, bananas and dried dates.
They are iconic for a reason. Bananas offer that immediate energy boost thanks to their easy-to-digest glucose and fructose. But beyond the simple carb hit, their real value is actually in the recovery angle.
Okay.
They're packed with antioxidants and, of course, potassium.
And why does that matter specifically in the context of, say, a long 4-hour Zone 2 ride?
Well, prolonged sustained exercise generates a lot of metabolic waste, including free radicals that cause oxidative stress. It's basically cellular damage.
Okay.
The antioxidants and potassium bananas help mitigate that stress. And potassium is also just crucial for maintaining fluid balance and preventing muscle cramps when you're sweating for hours.
Which is why you see those images in the blog of pros like Rigoberto Urán just relying on something as simple as a banana. It's effective, cheap maintenance.
It's perfect.
That makes perfect sense. So it's not just fuel, it's protection. Now, what about dried dates? These things are like tiny powerhouses.
They are. They're exceptionally high in natural sugars, but they deliver that energy steadily. The reason we often recommend dates over, say, raisins is because dates have this higher concentration of invert sugar, that's glucose and fructose, and a decent fiber profile.
Which helps slow things down a bit.
It modulates the absorption rate, yeah. It prevents those sharp energy spikes and the crashes that come after.
They're essentially nature's little pre-wrapped energy chew.
Precisely. And they are so mineral dense, they provide magnesium, potassium, copper. If potassium is managing cramps, then magnesium is playing this huge role in muscle contraction and nerve function. You're basically extending the quality of your endurance.
And they're both portable, easy on the stomach, zero cooking required. But okay, moving from classic fruits to a true staple of the modern pro-peloton, we have to talk about the famous rice cake.
Oh yeah, rice cakes have completely revolutionized how pros approach non-race fueling. Their popularity, it really stems from the work of Dr. Alan Lim and Chef Bijou Thomas. Their book, The Feed Zone Portables, basically turned this simple food into an on-the-bike performance staple.
But if I'm looking for carbs, why is a compressed block of rice better than, say, an oatmeal cookie or a bagel?
It all comes down to digestibility and absorption speed. And this is a really key scientific insight from the article. Rice, especially white varieties like basmati or jasmine, is superior because of its extremely low fiber content relative to its carb density.
So it's high carbs but low resistance. It gets in and gets to work fast without causing a traffic jam in your digestive system.
Exactly. I mean, GI issues are probably the biggest race-ending problem for endurance athletes. Low fiber just mitigates that risk dramatically. And on top of that, freshly made rice cakes have another huge advantage over dry energy bars.
The water content.
Well, the high water content. Jasmine rice can be up to 70% water, making the cake moist, easy to swallow, and it even helps with your hydration.
That definitely addresses the palatability issue. Who wants to choke down a dry bar on a dusty 5-hour ride?
No one. And that's why pro teams like EF Pro Cycling and experts like Scratch Labs, they all rely on them. And the customization is the final piece. You can add honey for sweet profile or scrambled eggs and bacon for something savory when you're just sick of sugar.
That balance is so important for just long-term enjoyment. But if I'm just an amateur, I might be thinking, why should I spend 30 minutes making these when I can just buy a bar?
That's a valid friction point. The answer comes back to what Zone 2 is for. You're not just trying to survive, you're trying to build a base. The natural composition of rice cakes means they deliver consistent, digestible energy without all the chemical additives. They support your body for the long haul.
Point taken. Okay, let's leave the kitchen and head across the Atlantic for some culturally rich traditions. And we'll start in the Netherlands with the iconic stroopwafel.
The stroopwafel, yeah. It originates from Gouda in the late 18th century, and it's deceptively simple. 2 thin waffles with a caramel syrup filling.
And the ritual warming it over your cup of coffee to soften the caramel, that's just fantastic cycling lore.
It is, and it's brilliant physics. The structure itself is key.
Yeah.
You have the complex carbs of the waffle base, which take a bit longer to break down, combined with the simple, immediate sugars of that caramel syrup.
So you get a quick boost and a sustained release all in one package.
Exactly. And the fact that the concept works so well is why you see companies like GU Energy making their own performance versions. It just proves that this centuries-old tradition aligns perfectly with modern sports science.
Just south of that, we have Belgium, the heartland of cycling, and home to the potent Liège waffle. When you say Liège, I think Liège, Bastogne Liège, La Doyenne, the oldest, toughest one-day race. It's fitting they rely on something this calorie-dense.
Oh, the Liège waffle is not your fluffy breakfast waffle. Not at all. It's denser, richer, almost doughy, and its unique quality comes from adding pearl sugar.
Yeah.
These are chunks of caramelized sugar that give it that incredible chewiness and sweetness.
I can almost taste the density just thinking about it.
And that density is the fuel benefit. It's way more calorie dense than a standard waffle or even a stroopwafel. It offers immediate energy from that caramelized sugar, and then much more sustained energy from the complex carbs and higher fat content. That's serious fuel.
Moving inland to the mountains, we get to the Swiss powerhouse, the Biberli. This sounds like it addresses a whole different set of fueling problems.
The Biberli, or the Appenzeller Burley Bieber, is fascinating. It's this dense pastry from the canton of Appenzell. It's a small gingerbread base wrapped around a filling of honey, almonds, and spices. It was originally food for Swiss mountaineers and hikers on long journeys.
And how does that translate for a Zone 2 cyclist?
Its density and portability are just genius. When you're cycling in the mountains, you need fuel that packs maximum calories into minimum space, and something that can withstand big temperature swings without crumbling or freezing. Biberli is perfect for that.
So it's a fuel source that actually survives the journey no matter how long it is.
Precisely. And nutritionally, it's a triple threat. Natural sugars, including high fructose honey for rapid uptake, healthy fats from the almonds for caloric density and slow release, and warming spices that can even help digestion in the cold. It's a perfect historical example of high-altitude performance fueling.
That is such a great connection between culture and athletic need. Okay, let's pivot now to South America for maybe the most celebrated cycling fuel of the last decade, the Colombian rocket fuel, bocadillos.
The bocadillo de guayaba. It's guava paste cooked with sugar, and it's a foundational staple for Colombian cyclists. They're often sold in these dense, chewy blocks, sometimes wrapped in dried palm leaves, which makes them incredibly resistant to heat and easy to carry.
We hear about them all the time with Colombian climbers like Nairo Quintana. But let's break down the performance mechanics. Why is this simple guava paste so scientifically sound?
The secret is in the sugar composition. Guava paste naturally provides an almost optimal blend of both fructose and glucose. And this is a really crucial insight for maximizing endurance performance.
Right. Tell us why consuming both at the same time is better than just consuming one.
Because your body absorbs these two sugars through different intestinal pathways. If you only have glucose, you eventually saturate that transport channel, and you're limited to absorbing about 60 grams an hour.
Okay.
But by adding fructose, you open up a separate, dedicated pathway that lets you absorb significantly more total carbohydrates, up to 90 or even 120 grams per hour.
So a traditional bocadillo naturally does what modern sports drinks spend millions trying to replicate with their formulas. That's incredible.
It is. And the article mentions, we've talked about this science before, specifically with simple science-based performance drinks. The bocadillo delivers that optimal ratio in this highly palatable, natural, and dense form.
But if the goal is that glucose-fructose mix, why shouldn't I just use a standard technical gel? It's prepackaged, maybe easier to eat quickly.
Gels are great for quick bursts in a race. But during long, steady Zone 2 rides, the density of the bocadillo offers a genuine feeling of satiety, which a liquid gel just can't. That chewing in density helps manage hunger, and it prevents that stomach sloshing you sometimes get.
And we're seeing modern companies adapt this. The article references that Medellin startup, Altiva, turning traditional bocadillos into commercial bars. And the pro-proof is there. Just look up #Bocadillo Power from pro cyclist Simon Pillaud.
It's a really compelling case for traditional wisdom.
Our final stop is Italy, where heritage ingredients inspired a commercial brand that's all about real food. Veloforte.
Yeah, Veloforte was founded by Mark Giusti in 2016 with this specific goal of moving away from highly processed food for endurance sports. And while it is a commercial bar, it's included here because it's just so deeply rooted in Italian tradition.
The basis is the ancient panforte recipe from Siena, right?
Exactly. Panforte literally means strong bread. It's a dense, chewy fruit and nut cake that's been around since the Middle Ages. Perfect, long journey, food calorie dense, and non-perishable. Veloforte bars are essentially that recipe, just packaged for modern cycling.
And I appreciate that for Zone 2, where the effort is lower, your body can handle a more complex mix. Veloforte's natural composition offers this fantastic balance of carbs, proteins, and healthy fats.
That mix is critical. For long, sustained Zone 2, you need stable energy, not just a sugar hit. The fat and protein, even in small amounts, they slow down carbohydrate absorption just enough to keep your energy graph nice and flat, preventing troughs.
Plus, that ingredient list, real spices and fruits, it makes it a genuinely enjoyable experience, which is something you really crave after the third hour of staring at your stem.
It really is that integration of nutrition and enjoyment, delivering essential vitamins and minerals alongside effective fuel.
So what's the big takeaway for you, the writer? We've seen that whether you choose simple bananas, engineered rice cakes, or these culturally rich foods like stroopwafels and bocadillos, Zone 2 fueling doesn't need to be complicated or expensive. It can be delicious, gentle on the stomach, and incredibly effective.
It's all about tailoring your fuel to the effort. For those long, steady endurance rides, these international real food options provide all the necessary ingredients, carbs, minerals, and palatability to sustain the distance. We really encourage you to try incorporating a new tradition into your riding routine.
If you enjoyed this look into performance nutrition, remember there are many more resources on the Faster Bike blog. Specifically, we highly recommend checking out the trilogy of articles on cycling aerodynamics to help you maximize your speed, and also the recipe for the simple, science-based performance drink.
Knowledge about fueling is speed and endurance gained. By understanding these options, you are really empowering yourself to ride smarter.
Indeed. Now, I want to leave you with a final provocative thought based on all this. If centuries of tradition across multiple continents all led to dense, natural, high-calorie foods as the gold standard for long-distance travel, what biological wisdom are we overlooking when we default to highly refined liquid sugar for every single endurance effort? Something to chew on during your next Zone 2 ride.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of the Faster Bike Pod.
If you enjoyed this episode, make sure to hit subscribe and share with your friends. Also, don't forget to head to our website, fasterbikeblog.com, for more exciting content that makes you faster.
Accelerate your ride. Until next time.